Welcome back to Tracking That, a channel where we try to track what liberals are saying but end up not being able to as usual. So more rumors about Trump's vice president are in, and even though I find these videos to be incredibly annoying on speculating who it's going to be because the fact of the matter, nobody knows, this one seems credible because we've heard the names for a while, and in a way it makes sense. The three options, brace yourself, are Marco Rubio, Doug Burgum, and JD Vance. Obviously, I'm a Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, or Glenn Youngkin kind of guy, because with Tulsi you could get a lot of moderate voters. Vivek is Trump 2.0, and Glenn Youngkin, you could win the state of Virginia. But I digress. But anyways, it's more likely going to be Doug Burgum or JD Vance. This makes sense because these are two soft, well-spoken individuals that have America First policies. Except for when both of these individuals speak on the Israel-Palestine war. These are both pro-Israel individuals, and whether you're pro-Israel or pro-Palestine, it's important to note that pro-Israel lobbyists dominate the donation arena for funding political candidates, so it's more likely you're going to find a pro-Israel candidate. As some of you are aware, I don't take a side in this war. I like to call myself anti-war, because I've seen bad things happen on both sides, and I've also seen propaganda on both sides, like people using fake blood on themselves. But I'm absolutely against Hamas for coming in on parachutes, graping. Yes, I have to say grape, just remove the G. YouTube gets on our case about certain words. And I will admit the most obnoxious protesters are the pro-Palestine protesters. They are at the level of the Black Lives Matter protesters now, and I'm against anyone calling Jews to die in gas chambers, like my God. And now talking about the Ukraine war, JD Vance has spoken out against the sending of money to Ukraine because we don't know where the money has gone, and there have been reports that billions of dollars have been displaced. Doug Burgum, on the other side, supports funding the war. Now that being said, the military-industrial complex loves lobbying with the politicians. So that being said, all these wars, no matter what side you take, there are companies that send money to these politicians so they can make a profit. And yes, it absolutely influences their decisions on what they vote on budget-wise. That's why my eyebrows are constantly raised when politicians show support for certain wars, because God forbid we focus on our own problems at home. And yes, I hear the argument all the time. We can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. No, we obviously can't. We don't have enough money to fund these wars. And as Vivek Ramaswamy says about Ukraine, we are leading Russia into China's hands to set up World War III. Thank you very much. But enough of the rambling, let's pretend I didn't mention these important facts about these individuals. Let's talk about Doug Burgum and why he actually isn't the worst pick of all time. He was a CEO of Great Plains Software, an accounting software company that was acquired for $1.1 billion by Microsoft in 2001. He's also been a chairman and founder of various other companies, so you can overall call him a successful businessman similar to Donald Trump. Then he ran for governor of North Dakota and has been since 2016. And now, let me list you a few executive actions he has taken that definitely align with the America First agenda. First, requiring students to use the restroom aligned with their sex assigned at birth. Deregulation of farming. Extensive tax cuts. Prohibit sexual material in children libraries. Prohibit foreign governments from buying agricultural land in North Dakota. This is something Dr. Phil brought up a few weeks ago. And it's becoming well known that China is buying land surrounding our military bases, but he was ahead of the punch. Abortion being banned. Prohibit gender-affirming care for minors. College of trans athletes must compete in their gender assigned at birth. Harsher penalties for drug dealers. Authorizing schools to develop a plan for an armed first responder. Reduces income tax for military veterans. The list goes on, but these are great policies that have been in North Dakota because of Doug Burgum. So if we actually see Trump announcing Doug Burgum to be vice president, I wouldn't be too disappointed just because we're not used to hearing that name. But anyways, I remember watching the Republican debates, and whenever Doug Burgum spoke, he said significant information that a lot of people bypassed because he was one of those candidates that no one took seriously because he was a long shot. To wrap this video up, take a listen to Doug Burgum's speech on China and the electric vehicle scam. He might be a good pick after all.
I have to jump in because we're missing the point, and every other network is missing the point. The reason why people are striking in Detroit is because Joe Biden's interference with capital markets and with free markets. The subsidies, we're subsidizing the automakers and we're subsidizing the cars, and a particular kind of car, not every car. We're subsidizing electric vehicles. And when you decide that we're going to take all of your taxpayer monies, take $1 billion, subsidize a certain type of vehicle, and the batteries come from China. China controls 85% of the rare earth minerals. They're called rare earth because they're measured in parts per million. China is moving 100,000 pounds of earth in Indonesia, in Africa. They're literally destroying the planet so that they can make a battery that's in a car subsidized here. That's why they're striking, because they need 2/3 less workers to build an electric car. Joe Biden, this strike is at Joe Biden's feet.